Welcome to a deep dive that feels less like analysis and much more like we're decrypting a clandestine briefing.
Hmm.
Today, we are plunging straight into a world hidden just beneath the frantic, noisy surface of New York City.
Right under our feet.
Exactly. A world where ancient wars, genetic curses, and mythical, indestructible weapons aren't just fantasy. They're woven into the city's DNA, and the stakes are, quite literally, the future of the human spirit.
Well, the sources you've shared paint an incredibly dense tapestry. It's showing multiple crises just converging in Manhattan right now.
All at once.
All at once. So our mission isn't just to summarize the plot. It is to extract the core insights from this confluence of conflict. We're connecting three major, seemingly disparate events.
Okay.
You've got the centuries-old multinational pursuit of a legendary Japanese sword. Then there's the fate of a specific pregnant teenager who holds the key to the future.
And the big one.
And the big one, the looming escalation of a cosmic war between two eternal entities, the ally and the otherness. We need to understand the true cosmic significance of, say, a back alley fight in Central Park and why this conflict is peaking right here, right now.
And central to this entire maelstrom is our protagonist, a highly resourceful operative known only as Jack.
Just Jack.
We meet him operating well outside any official channels, but he is generating cash aggressively. He calls his fundraising method the Parkathon.
Which is a great name for it.
It's essentially a self-appointed, violent, and profitable form of rough justice, targeting the worst elements of the city after dark.
It's an extraordinary introduction. I mean, he deliberately makes himself look like an easy mark, the complete tourist, as the source says.
Yeah, the fanny pack, the whole bit.
The whole deal, just to dry out muggers.
Yeah.
And then he neutralizes them with this brutal efficiency. He's not just generating funds, he's calculating his takedown to the dollar. A few hundred in cash, pawnable gold from a necklace.
Yeah.
He's a machine of efficiency.
But the violence.
The violence we witness is immediate, raw, and yet it's highly controlled.
That control is the real story here. I think you're right. The violence isn't just external action. It's a demonstration of the immense, constant internal struggle Jack is waging against what he calls the blackness. This is where the core insight into his character really begins. Okay, so let's unpack this idea of the blackness. Every time Jack is forced into a confrontation, he explicitly fights the urge to lose control. He notes that he struggles not to go Mongol on his targets. And this isn't just adrenaline or rage. He specifies that this accumulated anger, this dark potential, resides specifically within his cells.
That detail is it's crucial because it immediately elevates the conflict from a simple moral struggle, good versus bad, to a genetic one.
Right. It's in his blood.
It's in his blood. Jack views his morality as walking a thin wire. He's consciously trying to avoid falling, to avoid becoming the kind of pathetic jerk he just brutalized.
So it's a constant effort.
A constant daily effort. This deep internal struggle, the need to bottle up and manage this aggression, it demonstrates this conscious control over inherent dark tendencies. It suggests that his moral compass is like a self-imposed prison, and it's necessary to contain something truly destructive.
But the question remains, why does this dark impulse feel so cellular?
Yeah.
So fundamental. And that brings us to the core cosmic disease introduced in the sources, the taint.
Exactly. The blackness is revealed to be a direct, genetic influence known as the taint.
It has a name.
It has a name. Jack meets a seemingly frail, old, bearded gentleman who goes by the alias Veilleur, who is in fact the alley's ancient paladin, Glycan.
So a major player in disguise.
A major player. And Veilleur explains the origin. Taint in the blood makes individuals highly susceptible to the adversary's influence. It's a literal hereditary curse.
Okay, so if the taint is the affliction, then the kickers, this modern organization led by Hank Thompson, they're the living, breathing symptom.
They are. And Hank Thompson's book, Kick, has sold millions. It's attracted a massive following drawn to these, fringe, aggressive philosophies.
But are they just a gang? Or something more?
Oh, they are far more than a fringe gang. They are the distant, deluded, but still powerful progeny of the ancient, fearsome Kukar race.
Kukar, okay.
Veilleur clarifies that the otherness, the ultimate cosmic evil, created the Kukar race by inserting something of itself into their DNA many, many millennia ago. This wasn't just influencing creatures, it was an act of genetic modification at the dawn of time.
And the original Kukar are terrifying. The sources paint them as savage, vicious, large, hairy, fanged, four-armed creatures.
And with additional boneless, tentacular limbs. I mean, just pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Their sole purpose was to kill and breed. to perpetuate the taint.
And what's fascinating here is how this ancient mythological evil connects directly to a modern street movement. The kickers use this four-armed stick figure symbol, the kicker man.
So they're literally using the image of their ancestors.
They are symbolizing this dark, primal past, maybe without even fully knowing it. The kickers, therefore, are a deliberate concentration of genetic weakness and violent potential in the modern world. They are essentially a pre-programmed army, just waiting for a signal.
But wait, hang on. If Jack struggles with the blackness, doesn't he also carry the taint? Doesn't that make him, one of them?
And that's the critical distinction Valier draws. Simply carrying the taint, which, he implies, many humans, perhaps even the vast majority, doesn't make you a capital T taint.
Okay, there's a threshold.
There's a threshold.
Yeah.
You must carry enough of the QER genetic marker to actively influence behavior. Jack is highly unusual because his taint is compartmentalized.
Compartmentalized? What does that mean?
He can bottle up the brutish tendencies common to taints and release them only when necessary. He can turn it on and off. The source describes it as an exhilarating high and a dark joy when he lets it out. He channels the evil without succumbing to it.
Which makes him incredibly dangerous, but also incredibly useful.
Precisely. This compartmentalization is why he is so critical to the Alley's defense of Earth. And it brings us to the timeline of this cosmic conflict. Jack realizes he was conceived in January 1969. Why is that date so crucial?
It seems so specific.
It's the result of the Adversary's monumental long game plan. Rasalom, the ultimate agent of the otherness, first merged with a fetus in early 1968, setting into motion his latest rebirth and plan for conquering the world.
So Jack's conception happens right after that.
Immediately following that event, it suggests he is an unintentional but unavoidable byproduct of the cosmic forces colliding at that specific time. He was, in a sense, a wild card thrown into the mix during the preparations for the Adversary's return.
And that background, that cosmic context, it sets the stage for the true, ancient, immortal battle.
It does. Valier provides the deeper context, revealing the stakes between the two cosmic adversaries who view human existence very, very differently.
Let's start with the evil side, then, the Adversary. He uses anagrams like Rasalom, but forbids anyone from speaking his true, actual name. Why the secrecy?
It's not just secrecy. It's a defense mechanism. Because speaking, the name allows him to instantly locate and come looking for the speaker. It's a psychic tether, a weakness he manages carefully.
Wow. And the sheer age of this entity is it's astounding. Rasalom is estimated to be about 14 to 15,000 years old since his first birth.
A teenager, in cosmic terms, maybe.
Huh, maybe. And he serves as the agent provocateur for the otherness, constantly working to undermine the Alley's influence on Earth.
His core mechanism of power is insidious. He gains strength by feeding on human viciousness and depravity.
So our worst impulses are his food.
Literally. All that is dark, hateful, hopeless, and malicious within humanity. His power source is essentially the accumulated misery and immorality of mankind. Every mugging, every murder, every act of despair acts like a calorie for him.
Which makes a place like New York City a 5-star restaurant.
An all-you-can-eat buffet. And on the other side is the ally, represented on Earth by Valier or Glaken, whom Jack observes is not at all what he expected. He's shorter, older, more vulnerable.
Right, not some shining knight.
Not at all. And this is the core reason the crisis is peaking now. The Allies' paladin has returned to mortality. He's aging rapidly, now just an old man with a creaking body.
And he's hiding it.
He is actively, desperately hiding this immense physical weakness. The Adversary fears Glycan's former power, the power that once pierced him with the first cosmic sword. If Rasalom knew his opponent was now merely an old man, vulnerable and tired,
he'd attack immediately. Game over.
he would accelerate his plans instantly. So the Allies not just playing a defensive game, they're playing a deception game, trying to buy time until they can find a permanent way to neutralize the Adversary.
But Valier admits the stakes are deeply cynical.
Yes, this is a key point.
Yeah.
He confesses that to the cosmic forces, this struggle is something of a game.
A game with all this death.
Their eternal nature means they can sustain losses and return later. But for humanity, Valier says, is a life-or-death struggle where humans are merely the pieces being moved around. We are the pawns, reluctant pieces like Jack, or willing pieces like the kickers. This is the ultimate existential threat.
And the clock is ticking.
Loudly. Valier warns Jack that the Adversary is rapidly gaining momentum, partly because the modern world provides so much misery to feed on. He says that Something between now and next spring will trigger his plans.
A deadline.
A deadline. The adversary needs a way to seize the world from the ally without setting off any catastrophic cosmic alarm bells, and the discovery of Vigil's mortality would certainly be the trigger for a full-scale assault.
So that necessitates Jack's current mission. He has to be the guy on the ground.
He has to be. He's a point of localized defense. Vigil must remain secluded, protecting his wife and allowing the illusion of his power to persist. Jack becomes the surrogate paladin, the compromised hero.
Tasked with cleaning up the immediate consequences of Rasalom's machinations, all while fighting the very genetics that Rasalom exploits in others.
It sets up an impossible situation.
Yeah.
Jack is fighting a war of millennia with a moral ticking clock, trying to control the enemy within while facing down the enemy without. Now we shift our focus to the physical object at the center of this immediate conflict. The legendary katana known as the Gaijin Masamune.
The sword.
The sword. And what's truly fascinating here is that this object is not just historical, it's a relic that transcends human history. It's a tangible link between the cosmos and our planet.
It has a stunning mythic origin story that sounds like a celestial event. I mean, the core of the sword originated from a piece of metal that had fallen from the sky in a blaze of light.
Just fell from the sky, and this metal was given to the famous swordsmith Masamune by a wandering Gaijin, a foreigner warrior, sometime in the early 14th century.
So it's ancient.
Very. And Masamune, a master of earth steel, found the metal to be miraculously strong. He initially forged a short sword, a kodachi, but later melted it down, integrating his own finest steel into the creation of the katana.
And this is where the symbolic importance really kicks in.
It is. The sources note that the metals never fully mixed. The cosmic steel and the earth steel remain distinct, resulting in this unique, mottled finish on the final weapon.
That's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? The perfect reflection of Jack himself. A mingling of cosmic influence and terrestrial humanity that refuses to fully homogenize.
I hadn't thought of that, but you're absolutely right. The sword is a test of whether these two materials, or these two influences, can be wielded for good.
And the proof of its cosmic origin, its legendary indestructibility, that arrived dramatically in 1945.
It did. The sword was discovered, naked and without its handle, at ground zero in Hiroshima.
Pause on that for a moment. Think about that. An atomic blast. The absolute apex of human destruction couldn't destroy this relic.
It's unbelievable. The sources confirm that the earth steel added by Masamune melted away from the immense heat, but the original Gaijin steel resisted. It left the blade riddled with pocks and holes where the terrestrial steel had once resided.
So it literally shows you what's from Earth and what's not.
The sword literally demonstrates that its core is impervious to human-made annihilation. The sheer power and unique history of the Gaijin Masamune make it an object of immense power and value, a value recognized not just by collectors, but by ancient cults and cosmic entities.
Yeah, Tom O'Day, the fencing collector who briefly possesses it, he's entirely obsessed. He refers to it with this mixture of awe and dread.
As he should.
And this legendary weapon is the focus of a massive, violent, and multifactional hunt that provides the immediate threat requiring Jack's intervention. We have at least 3 distinct lethal groups converging on Manhattan, all seeking the single blade.
Okay, let's assess the threat, starting with the original claimant. The good guys, quote-unquote.
Right. Jack is hired by Nakanari Okumo Slater, or Naka II. His family connection goes back to the sword's discovery at Hiroshima by a Japanese intelligence officer, Matsuo Okumo, who died in the blast.
So Naka just wants the sword back as a family heirloom. It's a simple human motivation amidst all this cosmic chaos.
A very grounded reason. But then the danger escalates dramatically with the true fanatics, the Kakureta Kao, the Order of the Hidden Face.
And their goals are apocalyptic.
Yes. This is an ancient Japanese cult that formerly protected the emperor. They believe they need the Gaijin Masamune, along with some sacred scrolls, to destroy New York City and initiate their resurgence, a dark return to power.
Their commitment is absolute. We see this through their agent, Toru Akechi, a sensei, who has reached the 5th circle and taken the vow of the hidden face.
And this vow, it's not just an oath.
No, this commitment required extreme self-mutilation. Facial surgery to conceal identity, ear and tongue removal to signify silence and isolation, and castration to denote total devotion only to the cult.
Unbelievable.
When you understand the sheer fanatical commitment of their agents, you realize the threat to NYC is existential, not theoretical.
And finally, you have the wild card. Tom O'Day, the proprietor of Bladeville.
The underworld player.
The fence, the collector. He recognizes the sword immediately from a photograph shown by the initial thief, Hugh Garish, and his desperate greed leads him to immediately murder Garish to acquire the blade.
And the lethality of the weapon is confirmed instantly. O'Day uses the Gaijin Masamune to decapitate Garish. The collector is shocked, noting that the slice was so clean he hadn't felt the slightest tug of resistance.
It's a testament to the sword's impossible sharpness.
And its ability to effortlessly overcome mundane materials. The weapon continues to demonstrate its preternatural power during Jack's confrontation with O'Day at Bladeville.
Yeah, during the melee, the sword cuts clean through the barrel of Jack's Glock, completely disabling the weapon.
Which shouldn't happen. An ordinary katana might nick or bend a barrel. This one slices through it like butter.
After O'Day's death, which is an accidental electrocution, highlighting the chaotic nature of this whole thing, the sword disappears again.
Stolen by a kicker named Daryl amidst the mayhem. And this is a critical development because the Gaijin Masamune moves from the sphere of ancient Japanese cults and greedy collectors directly into the hands of the taint-infected organization.
Right into the enemy's camp. And Hank Thompson, the leader of the Kickers, immediately puts its power to a horrifying test.
He uses the Gaijin Masamune to behead a cow on a Long Island farm.
Why a cow?
This detail connects the sword's cosmic power back to Thompson's history and his movement's violence. Thompson ran a slaughterhouse before becoming a popular fringe leader. He's testing the sword's ability to kill effortlessly on something big.
So he's testing his new tool.
He is. And this test confirms two things. The sword is indeed in taint hands, and its potential for mass slaughter is now fully recognized by the Adversary's agents. The weapon has been absorbed into the cosmic war machine.
So we have the ultimate legendary weapon, capable of resisting atomic blasts, now in the possession of the genetic descendants of the Cure.
Who are themselves hunting a pregnant teenager who holds the key to the future. Everything is connected.
Let's shift now to Dawn Pickering, the 18-year-old pregnant girl who is the unintentional key to this chaotic struggle.
The ultimate pawn.
She is currently held in a highly secured, luxurious, but deeply isolated Manhattan penthouse. She is the ultimate pawn in the cosmic chess match.
And Dawn's situation is one of profound psychological distress. She is a prisoner, protected by a staff, Gilda and Henry the chauffeur, all under the control of a Mr. Osala.
She's desperate to escape, and she is fixated on getting an abortion. She views the baby as a thing inside me, an alien presence.
Her fear is that when she feels the baby kick, it will become impossible to terminate. Her maternal instincts are just, they're warped by terror.
And she believes Mr. Osala was hired by her deceased mother to protect her from Jerry Bethlehem.
Right, who she knows is a dangerous figure, but is actually Jeremy Bolton, the notorious Atlanta abortionist killer.
Who also happens to be Hank Thompson's half-brother. The web just gets more tangled.
And the tragic irony is that Bolton is already dead, thanks to Jack. But Dawn is still effectively imprisoned by her supposed protector.
This raises the single most important strategic question of this whole arc. Why is Rasalom, operating under the alias Mr. Osala, protecting the key to his enemy's plan? If the child is connected to the Alley's future, why keep it alive?
Well, Rasalom is using sophisticated psychological control. He establishes a command presence. He provides immense wealth. He literally gives Dawn $250,000 of her own mother's money.
So he's buying her compliance.
This immense generosity and luxury are part of the cage. And you have Henry the chauffeur calling him the master, which reinforces this sense that Dawn is trapped in a modern-day Gothic horror, a Manhattan version of Dracula's castle.
It's very creepy.
And his stated reasoning for keeping her there is just manipulative genius. He tells Dawn the baby is an insurance policy against Hank Thompson, her baby's father, harming her.
Because hurting her would harm his own child.
Exactly. It's a perfect psychological trap that turns her biological burden into a perverse form of protection.
But the sources reveal the true motivation straight from the adversary himself.
They do. He later admits he had initially planned to eradicate the child upon conception.
So what changed his mind?
He decided the child might prove useful. He explicitly calls the child the key to the future, though he stresses not in the way Hank's late father intended.
Okay, we need to elaborate on that crucial context. Hank's late father was Jonah Stevens.
Who was the preparer of the way for Rasalom's rebirth.
Hmm.
Jonah Stevens was a deeply taint-affiliated individual, instrumental in arranging the events that led to this whole conflict.
So Rasalom is implying that while Jonah intended this child to be the key for Rasalom's final triumph,
Rasalom now realizes the child's potential is a wild card. It's capable of being used against him, or, more cunningly, being turned to his benefit. To control the future, He must control the key.
Dawn's growing desperation then fuels her elaborate escape attempt. She uses an effective disguise, a scarf and sunglasses, and successfully fools Henry into taking her shopping on Fifth Avenue, exploiting his predictable routine.
But this brief moment of freedom is immediately shattered by reality.
Right. While she's out, she spots the Dawn hotline flyers set up by Hank Thompson.
This confirms the intense, organized nature of the kicker search. Thompson is mobilizing his entire national network to find her. This isn't just a few guys in a van.
Her call is what seals her fate. She uses Henry's cell phone to dial the number, confirming that Hank is indeed looking for her, and she realizes the danger isn't just a vague threat, but a very real, imminent pursuit.
And she executes her final escape maneuver, ditching Henry in a Soho changing room. She quickly finds temporary refuge, makes plans to leave the city, and eventually secures an appointment at an abortion clinic.
Her last desperate bid for self-determination.
But the adversary's network is far superior. Hank Thompson's kicker network, having tracked Henry's car and the burner phone call, is already waiting outside the clinic.
She is captured right as she's about to enter the building. It's a devastating sequence. She moves from the luxurious, manipulative prison of Rasalom directly into the physical, brutal hands of the taint.
And this movement of the key is the trigger for the entire final confrontation. It brings all three groups, the cult, the kickers, and Jack, together at Septimus Lodge.
It seems Rasalom calculated that Dawn would eventually run.
But he didn't calculate that she would fall into the hands of the kickers before he could secure her himself. A rare misstep.
It seems like every player is moving simultaneously now, and the stakes are about to shift from control over an object or a person to the actual destruction of the spiritual foundation of New York City itself.
As the different factions converge on the Kicker HQ, the Kakureta Kao cult introduces a deadly apocalyptic element that transcends mere physical warfare.
The Kuroikaze.
The Black Wind. And this is the adversary's preferred tool, even if it is technically deployed by the cult.
We need to analyze this weapon deeply because it represents the true nature of the cosmic threat. The cult plans to use the Black Wind to destroy New York City as an act of revenge and to initiate their dark resurgence. But how does it work, and why NYC?
Well, the mechanics are horrifyingly simple and utterly non-conventional. The Black Wind requires a living human focus.
A human battery.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Typically someone sickly or someone the cult believes will not be missed. The Shoten drinks a toxic Ikisu elixir. The resulting wind lasts as long as the Shoten survives, sucking life and spirit from everything it touches.
And the sources include a terrifying description of their test run.
They do. It was conducted discreetly on Staten Island near the Fresh Kills landfill. The wind manifests as a black cloud that absorbs light, causing a wilt that kills all biological life plants, rodents, bacteria, but the effect on humans is far worse.
Yeah, a witness describes survivors being left with expressions of great sadness and unfathomable hopelessness.
That's the core insight into the Kuroikaze. It is not just a poison cloud. It is a psychological and spiritual weapon.
Let's pause on that idea for a second because this connects directly back to Rasalom's nature and his food source.
Exactly. Vera confirms the cosmic stakes. The Black Wind is felt only by humans. First, it robs them of resolve and hope. If deployed across NYC, the terror, the mass suffering, the misery engendered will bloat Rasalom. It will feed him strength as he's never fed before.
So it's the perfect attack for the adversary. He doesn't need to physically destroy buildings, he needs to break the human spirit.
A wave of collective despair across 8 million people would make him unimaginably powerful. It could potentially eliminate Vera's ability to resist him entirely. The Kuroikaze is essentially a fast-acting, wide-scale food source for cosmic evil.
So Rasalom, seeing the threat and the opportunity, orchestrates the entire confrontation. He uses an anonymous call to Jack, telling him the cultists have both the sword and Dawn at Septimus Lodge, initiating the perfect melee.
Rasalom's cunning is masterful. The melee is brutal and swift. The Kakureta Kao monks, highly trained and armed with shuriken and katanas, massacre the less disciplined kickers.
Jack and Valor enter through a fire exit, and they're just navigating a scene of immediate, horrifying death.
And the monks are absolutely ruthless, not just with their enemies, but with their own. They use poison-tipped slivers, dakuippin, on one of their own, Tadasu, for failing his mission.
And later on, captured kickers.
Turning the battlefield into a horror show of internal execution and slow, agonizing death.
Amid this carnage, Hank Thompson successfully retrieves Dawn and the Gaijin Masamune. But even in this frantic escape, the sword's lethality is confirmed again.
It kills Menk, one of Hank's own men, during the rush. The sword seems determined to create bloodshed regardless of whose hand wields it. It has no allegiance.
But Hank's brief triumph is immediately intercepted by the ultimate player. Rasalom, as Mr. Osala, confronts Hank Thompson as he flees with the key and the sword.
This is the major scene of confrontation where all pretenses just drop.
The masks come off.
Rasalom reveals his true identity and his involvement with Hank's late father, Jonah Stevens, confirming that Jonah was indeed the preparer of the way for Rasalom's latest rebirth. This revelation connects the immediate struggle of the Kickers to the millennia-long cosmic plan.
Rasalom then secures the key. He takes Dawn, reiterating that the child is a wild card that might prove useful to him.
And he uses his raw supernatural power to paralyze Hank and Daryl instantly before securing Dawn and just driving away.
And here is the adversary's final deadly move. He eliminates the loose ends and feeds his impending growth.
He forces the last surviving Kakureta Kao monk to consume the remaining Ikisu elixir and sacrifice himself on the roof of Septimus Lodge, transforming the monk into the Shaden.
And the massive Kuroikaze immediately begins blowing over the Lower East Side, sucking hope and life from the city.
Veilleur, facing the ultimate immediate threat to Rasalom's power, urges Jack to act instantly. He hands Jack the Gaijin Masamune.
This is the moral pivot point for Jack, isn't it?
It is. He is forced to fight through the immediate effects of the Black Wind, the debilitating despair and hopelessness. He knows that the despair is so profound he has to rely on the pain from a self-inflicted wound just to keep his mind focused on the immediate tangible task.
Which is to kill the source of this spiritual plague.
And Jack succeeds. He uses the ancient, indestructible, cosmic sword, the Gaijin Masamune, to decapitate the monk, the Shuten, ending the immediate crisis and saving the city from spiritual annihilation.
So the Gaijin Masamune, this relic of ancient war, is thus used in a necessary act of murder to save millions.
The implications are profound. Jack has used the ultimate weapon of chaos to restore order. The sword, which caused so much death and was considered evil by its former owners, was the only instrument available to execute the necessary act of fratricide.
So let's look at the balance sheet in the immediate aftermath. The Gaijin Masamune's last act in this source is fratricide, killing the Shuten to save the city. Jack is left holding the legendary weapon.
And the original claimant, Nakaslater-Sixon, refuses the sword entirely. He says the bloodshed has rendered the sword evil.
So it's officially unwanted by its family.
And is now in the hands of the only person with the compartmentalized taint necessary to potentially wield it safely. It's a burden Jack inherits through necessity, not desire.
And Dawn, the key to the future.
Physically safe, but only relatively so. She's taken by Rasalom, secure in his luxurious penthouse, but now under his direct personal control. He has ultimate custody of the wildcard child.
And the most disturbing long-term development is the fate of Hank Thompson and the surviving Kickers.
Yes. Despite the public massacre and the terrifying Kuroikaze incident, they are bailed out by a seemingly legitimate organization, the Ancient Septimus Fraternal Order, or ASFO.
Which is just a front for Rasalom.
The front for Rasalom's anonymous wealthy sponsor. This is critical. The organization built on genetic taint, the EQR progeny, is now brought under the effective control of the adversary's larger, legitimate-seeming organization, managed by the PR expert, Terrence McCabe.
So he lost the battle but might be winning the war.
Rasalom lost the immediate battle for the sword, but he gained an institutionalized army of taints. He has normalized the evil. He's mainstreaming it.
And finally, the reach of the Black Wind is confirmed. Jack returns home to find Gia and Vicky suffering from terrible nightmares precisely when the Kuroikaze was blowing miles away.
This proves the Black Wind's effects extended even to their unconscious minds. It shows that the physical boundaries of the battle are irrelevant. The war is now fundamentally spiritual and psychological.
The conflict isn't just about men with knives or swords. It's about a spiritual contagion that can travel miles to infect the very dreams of the innocent. Hashtag outro.
So what does this all mean for the big picture, zooming out from the chaos of Septimus Lodge?
Well, we've seen that the ancient war between the ally and the otherness is deeply embedded not just in history, like with the Gaijin Masamune, but in human genetics, the taint.
And its battleground is now the streets of our modern world. There's no hiding from it. Not at all. And the adversary, Rasalom, he played a brilliant long game. While he lost the immediate prize of the sword, he achieved two strategic victories that dramatically accelerate his master plan.
Okay, what are they?
First, he secured direct control over the pregnant teen who carries the child linked to the sword's destiny. The key is in his pocket.
And second,
he gained total control over Hank Thompson's entire Kicker organization. He integrated a powerful movement built on inherited taint into his own secret network via the ASFO. The taint has gone corporate.
Stepping back from the immediate action, the most intense point of tension for me is the fate and morality of the Gaijin Masamune itself.
Mhm.
Jack is left holding this legendary, world-changing weapon. He knows it must be destroyed, but his commitment to his word to returning it honorably initially prevented him from doing so.
And now the weapon is officially unwanted by its original seeker, who claims it is evil. It's in the hands of the one person who might have the moral fortitude and the specific controlled blackness required to use its immense potential for good.
The Lady Jack's ethereal mother figure, she hinted at this complexity, right? She acknowledged that its last act was fratricide.
Terrible, she said, yet done for a necessary good end. So Jack now carries the burden of this choice, the ultimate power and the ultimate moral ambiguity.
It seems like the future doesn't hinge on finding a perfect, pure hero to wield a perfect, pure sword. It hinges on the highly flawed, compromised operative who has the specific genetic makeup to utilize a compromised, powerful weapon against an eternal foe.
And considering that the Adversary has integrated the Kicker movement, an organization built specifically to exploit inherited taint and feed Rasalom through generalized cruelty into a seemingly respectable, high-powered public relations and political machine.
Yeah.
We have to ask, does the ultimate battle against the otherness rely primarily on stopping Rasalom's immediate cosmic plans, or on finally finding a way to purge the pervasive ancient influence of the courier taint from the human bloodstream itself before the taint becomes indistinguishable from modern human society?
The ultimate battle may not be fought with swords, but in our very DNA,